are you? Hope you're good. So we're back again with another wrap-up and TBR. So this is again gonna be one of those months that I do a wrap-up, a current reads and TBR. I think without further ado, let's go through the books that I read in the month of October. I think the first book that I finished in the month of October was Gentleman's Guide to EDINBURGH. I have already uploaded a spoiler-free review. I'm not gonna speak about it for like a long time. I will suggest it here if I remember. If not, then please just go to my channel and it's gonna be one of the ones that was not too long ago. I gave the book 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than I anticipated enjoying it. It was really funny. I specifically fell in love with the female character in there. There was a sister, was a secondary character that was really kick-ass without pushing it too hard, you know, so it wasn't like the main character that was like, oh, badass, badass. No, it was a secondary one that was badass in the way that's not in your face, but it's still like, yeah, you go girl. So I really enjoyed that. And also someone commented on my video of that review that there's gonna be a sequel that's following her, so I am now super excited about that. But just to really quickly tell you what this is about a son of a royal, I'm never really even sure, but he goes on a Euro trip basically, and then like a lot of stuff happens that should not happen, and they're sort of forced onto an adventure, and it's him, best friend Percy that he's in love with, and his sister Felicity, who is my favorite character out of this book. And it's a lot of character development and character growth, so if you're interested in that, I would highly recommend it. I feel like a lot of people would like this book. It's very low-key and it's easy to read and it's entertaining, that I feel like a lot of types of readers would still enjoy that book. Now the next book that I read was Nevernight. So at the moment that I'm filming this, the live stream is gonna be today, so I'm really excited. So by the time you see this, it's already had happened, so I will suggest the live stream video somewhere here as well. You can see a lot of people babble about this book at the same time. Really hope it goes well. So Nevernight is following the main character Mia, who has a gift from the goddess of the night, and so she has this shadow cat following her and helping her and making her fearless, and just as like a coping mechanism. I'm not entirely certain. She is on a quest to avenge her family. Me personally, it really reminded of Thieves Guild in Skyrim, so if you played Skyrim, that's what it reminds me of. I really enjoyed it. It took me a while to get into it. Not even like I enjoyed it to begin with, but it was quite slow, which a lot of high fantasies do at the very beginning. It's always, for me personally, it's always a bit, it takes like 50 to 100 pages to get into. I think I hit like 250 in here, and then I couldn't put it down. I read it in one day and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It wasn't a 5-star for me, but it was still pretty interesting, and I will read a second one. Then the next book that I actually finished, which I know I included in so many wrap-ups that you guys are sick of seeing it, and it's the first Harry Potter book, illustrated edition. Obviously it's Harry Potter, I don't need to tell you what it is about, and I don't need to like really speak about a lot of things either. It's Harry Potter. I enjoyed it. The illustrations were very beautiful. It's by Jim Kay, who I think is the same person who illustrated Monster Calls, or at least I believe so. It's a Harry Potter book. I didn't even put a rating on it because I feel like I'm so biased because it's my childhood. I don't think I would, reading it now, actually reading the first one now was sort of a struggle. I don't know if it's the format of the book, I'm not entirely certain, but like I just kept it for those like 5 minutes when I'm really into Harry Potter movies. And yeah, now I'm done with it. Next I have a comic book, and that's Rat Queens volume number 2. Rat Queens is like a bunch of female characters that are really kick-ass and really sassy, and it's sort of like a comic that also has some like serious underlining things going on there. And it's hard to explain. This was more of a going into the backstory of people and like knowing the characters a bit more, so it's like a character development one, but it was so action-packed as always, and it was really a pleasure to read, and it was really funny, and I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed the first one, which I thought is not gonna happen, but it did. So I'm really happy about that, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars as well. Next is a manga that I read, and that is One Punch Man. I think I mentioned that in my previous video, or like in a haul, I'm not sure which one it was. And One Punch Man is sort of like a ridiculous story about a superhero who's a superhero for fun, and he punches everyone with one punch and everyone sort of just gets destroyed. And there's a whole universe of superheroes, and there's like an organization that classes them in ranks, and there's the city that always gets attacked by like ridiculous monsters, and it's cool. It's really funny. And this is the first manga that I read, and the reason why it's volume 8 is that's where it picks up from when anime stops, because I watched anime first and I really enjoyed it and it was really fun, so I picked up the manga as well and I really did enjoy it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars and I just had a good laugh. This was like a good month for me. I really enjoyed most of the books that I read. Speaking of enjoying books that I read, this is my life. I even wrote like a sentence Goodreads review that I don't ever like do really, and I just said that I love this book more than I love pasta, and I feel like I am sorry, but that's like the only way I can express my love for this, because like this book is everything. And I'm talking about A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab. This is the final book in the Darker Shade of Magic series and it's following the same characters. I'm not going to mention anything really about this book because it is a 3rd book in a series, but the series is about the world where there are 4 different sort of planes and 4 different Londons, and it is set in London most of the time, and we're following this person who's an Antari and can travel between those Londons, and he is part of the royal family. He's not born into it, but we follow that family as well, and there's this adventurous woman who is really fearless and sort of problematic sometimes because she's pretty messed up. And there's a lot of death, This book was so action-packed, and I'm not usually the one that like loves action, but this book was everything. From the first like 10 pages I was hooked, and I'm so glad that I took this with me to when I went for the long weekend to visit Logan's father in Norway, because I don't know if I would be able to go to work while reading this book because I was so into it. I did not want to stop and I did not want anything to get in my way of reading this book. And it's quite a big book. It's 660 pages or something like that, and it didn't even feel that long because I love the world so much. It's so brilliant. Everything about this book was brilliant. Seriously though, I liked the first one. It wasn't like a masterpiece, but I did really enjoy it. I really like the second one more than the first one, but again, it wasn't like, you know, I really like it. But this one is like on another level. I feel like I could go on and on, but I love this book, and I feel like it wrapped everything up so well. Not everything was solved, which is what I like, because I like thinking about what the characters are doing now and what's their future. No, and not everything is like, oh, happy ever after. So it was literally not like that, and there was a lot of damage done, which is again another thing that I like. I don't like when everything is like bulletproof. This was one of those that you cannot put down, and it was so well done. So well done. I'm so happy that I picked up the series. I started this with the Book in a Jar, and I read this like separately from that, and oh my god, I don't have enough words to explain to you guys how much I love this particular book in the series. Maybe it was the time that I read it in, and I don't know. This is everything. Read it if you haven't already. I don't know if I already mentioned that, but it's 5 out of 5. So funny thing, when I read the second book, I actually went to see V. Schwab speak in my local bookstore. And when I was reading the second one, I really got this like Avatar feel for it, and apparently she did take some inspiration from that, and so maybe not surprisingly I really felt like reading some Avatar after this. So I read Avatar: The Last Airbender, The Search. This is like a massive collection of a comic with some like notes here from the creators and from the person who like sponsored this or something, I don't know. And there's some sketches at the back. It's a really cool book. And this one we actually learned what happened to Zuko's mother, which is something that I wondered for so long. The first book, you don't have to read them in order, I don't think, but I'm trying to. So the first one is The Promise and this one is The Search, and I like this one so much more. This one was 5 out of 5 for me. I was so happy to be back in the world. The story in this book tied up with to the story in the show so well. It was so well done. I'm like, I can't even tell you how much I love this. I read it in 2 days, and I went to work between those, you know, so all the time at work I was just thinking about how much I want to go back and read this. I wanted to know what happens next, and they even mentioned that they actually are really inspired by the Ghibli, or there's this one scene that they say it's so apparent that they're really inspired by films but of Studio Ghibli, and so I think a lot of people who like those type of things will enjoy Avatar as well. Oh, I just loved it. I loved being back in that world so much, and this just felt like watching a show all over again, and which I am actually doing, by the way. I just miss it so much, and it's one of my favorite things, and I just love the universe. I love the magic system, or bending system. It's not really magic, is it? I don't know. I love everything about it, and I really appreciated the notes on the sides, and anyway, 5 out of 5. A great way of ending the month. And now moving on to currently reading. So the first thing that I'm gonna mention is an audiobook, and it's called We'll Save the Galaxy for Food, and it's about this, it's a sci-fi book. It's quite funny. It's by Yahtzee Croshaw or something like that, I don't know. It's really witty, and it's really funny, and it's quite easy to listen to, although I am in the place, I think, in my mind that I quite love daydreaming, so I'm still like missing some bits of that, so I think that's gonna like knock the rating down. But it's not the book's fault, it's my mindset's fault, if you know what I mean. But it's still gonna be like 3 to 4 stars because I am really enjoying it, and I think it's a really hilarious book. It's about the system where the star pilots are out of jobs and they're like glorified taxi people basically, and our main character gets himself mixed up in this semi-mafia business with this person, and they just run away. Anyway, I don't want to like give up too much, and it's just really, it's a fun read. And I only have like an hour left, so I will be finishing this pretty soon, but probably in November. Then I am still in the middle, not in the middle, I've only started, it's still 35 pages, the same as last month's wrap up, because I didn't get a chance to grab this again, but it's One Dark Throne by Kendra Blake, and this is a continuation to Three Dark Crowns, where it's all about 3 sisters who were separated at birth, and they have different abilities, and they have to fight each other for a throne. So this is the second book in that one, and I really want to see what happens next, because the first one I had really high expectations, and I feel like it probably did quite a good job of setting the world up, but I felt that it was quite slow, so I'm expecting more stuff from this, and hopefully it will deliver. And the third book that I'm sort of reading is, I don't have it with me and I can't be bothered getting, so I'll just insert it. Sorry, future me, editing me, probably cursing myself now. And it's The Life-Changing Magic of Not Giving a Fuck. I am not one for the self-help books. I usually think they're ripping people off with very obvious things, but the concept of not giving that many fucks really appeals to me, because I give way too many. That's what like my most anxiety comes from. Like I just need to chill. So far I'm not that very much into it, but I think maybe I'm like page 50 or something, because I only read it like 5 minutes spare while waiting for a train or something like that. I wanna be honest, I think they really ripped off of The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up just in the title, because that book like exploded. It's all about that minimalism and stuff. So I feel like they're really milking it for that, because obviously people are gonna notice that more because they've heard it before, and it's like, oh, I've heard this somewhere, and then they're gonna be like, maybe it's good because I heard it somewhere. Anyway, so I thought that was a bit dodgy, but I have like mixed feelings so far. At first, sometimes I'm just like, oh yeah, this sounds like it's gonna be fun, you know, it's like, it's quite funny obviously, but sometimes I'm feeling like this is really not useful at all. So I'll keep reading and I'll tell you if it helps at all or not, but obviously it's very personal stuff for people, you know, if it's helpful for them or not. So that is all my current reads, and now onto my TBR. So the first book, of course, is gonna be Six of Crows, because you guys voted. This is supposed to be November's book in a jar book. You know that I'm afraid, because I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this book. I didn't like Lee Bardugo's Shadow and Bone so much. I know people keep saying that it's completely different, and I believe you, but it is set in the same universe, and I was not a big fan of that universe, but it was an audiobook, so I'm trying to go in with like a clean mindset and expect nothing and see what happens. So yeah, that's gonna be my first one. It's gonna be very interesting. I will set up Goodreads group for this really soon, and so you can guys talk about that there. And then obviously I'm gonna upload my book diary once I'm done with that, which is like a vlog of me reading this and my thoughts, and I'll speak to you there. Wish me luck. And so obviously this one's still on my TBR, as all of the other ones that I'm currently reading. The only other book that I might start is the second one of the illustrated Harry Potter ones. I know the third one came out, I haven't gotten yet. I heard that the illustrations are kind of sparse in that one, so I'm kind of like disappointed a bit. Anyway, but I haven't seen it, so I don't know if it's true. I don't actually know what I'm gonna be in the mood of, and I don't know how long this is gonna take me. I will just pick up more books if I have time for more books in November, and it will just, I suppose, be a surprise if I read anything else, and you will see that in my next wrap up. That is everything for today. Let me know if you read any of these books, and if you liked it, let me know if you added something to your TBR from this video, and also let me know what was the best book that you read in the previous month, if you read any books. If not, that's also super fine. Thanks so much for watching. As always, I love you all very, very much. I hope you have a great day ahead of you, and I will see you very soon. Bye!